was it? Garcia Casas then riding for them now. He's come into the squad with a good background, by the way. He used to ride with the Festina team, and a very experienced rider indeed. Garcia Casas gone away there because Festina folded last year. Coming this season, he had some 5 victories, and he's ranked number 70 in the UCI classification. So they can't really let this bloke get too far down the road, I don't think, because he does have that little edge when it comes to climbing in the mountains. And I say one of the ex-Festina riders now up there in the lead and pedalling away off the front of this pack. Probably a sort of mountain, I think, which may suit him, and freed of the work he used to do with Festina as a bit more of a domestic, now working hard on the climb for the Big Mat Ober. And there, 17.3 k's it is, it says there. And bearing in mind that the top of the climb of the second category climb is 16 kilometres from the finish. He's not got far to go, and he hasn't done too much damage though. These are what I think, shall I use words, power climbs, Sean, or how would you rate them? They don't seem to be what I call leg breakers. They just seem to go on and on and on.
Yes, well, they're not the real steep climbs where you have to go to a very low gear. They are more the power climbs, as you said. And the one up to Montferrand, that's a bit more steep, and you have to go in a lower gear. So it would suit a climber better on the Montferrand. And as you said, Garcia Casas, he's a good climber, and they cannot allow him to get too much ahead. Otherwise, to catch him on the final climb, it will be difficult for him. 20 seconds at the moment. So if you allow him any more than that, it would be difficult for him to come back on a climb like this.
Well, he's been a pro now for some 10 years, so he knows what he's letting himself in for. Ridden with Festina right the way since 1996, so he's a newcomer to come out of those ranks. Before that, he rode with the Artiac team, and here he is out the front now with the colours of the French squad. Coming up, the numbers of that group. We're hanging on. Give them to you a moment. Sean's jotting them down for you, and we'll update them in just a moment. Fair number still in this group, hence the long pause. Sean is now counting them for you, so we can identify how many there are there. Yes, Sean?
25 riders.
25. So it's still at 35. There's still a fair number left there. There's 30 seconds of gap then between the lead at the moment, Garcia Casas, and so most of that little lot are there. But the greatest thing is to take out those who haven't made it. But certainly we can see the Bonjour team still working hard at the front here in the blue jersey, the yellow jersey just behind of Roos, the overall race leader. 3 minutes 10 seconds, by the way, back to the main group, so that certainly is curtains for them, because over the top of this climb they've only got that final run-in of 16 kilometres. So from this group we're going to see eventually the stage victor today, and presumably by the time we get to the finish in Nice on Sunday, we'll probably find the results then of the overall race. The Paris-Nice, the 60th version of the Paris-Nice, rescued at the last moment by the Society of the Tour de France, because it did run into some financial trouble. There are 15 k's to go. Phonak, one of our co-sponsors. Just heard something about Jalabert there. I don't quite know what it was, but
Jalabert is on his own. He hasn't got any teammates left for him in this leading group.
So there we are. That's the gap is called 32 seconds according to my watch. Back to the group here. That last climb. There you can see that on your screen. Then in fact they've got down to 30 seconds, and the peloton at 3 minutes and 10 seconds. So I don't think I'm going to bother to time that one for you. Back to them. We'll go back to 0 on the watches. Roos doing just the right thing, staying up the front. Jalabert not far away from him. And you're watching this on Eurosport, the first big coverage we're bringing off cycle racing. And ahead of us, we're going to have plenty of action for you. And you can see Roos coming through here onto front two. Yesterday here, and I think that's Yellow Bear not far back from behind him. Is this attempt to split it, Sean, or just to stay out of trouble? For the yellow jersey to go on the front?
Well, I think the yellow jersey, we see him, he's very active in this group, and it proves that, you know, he must be in a good form. He must be feeling well, because for him to do that, he still have quite a few teammates around him. There we see Bennett and Chavanel. There was a few of them with him. So I'm surprised really that he's right in the front, you know, so early, that he's not waiting until the final climb, because I think you know, he's good enough to match the best of him on the final climb. But maybe he thinks Jalabert is under a bit of pressure, so he's testing him out and see could he take some more time from Jalabert, because you know, 2 or 3 seconds of an advantage is it's not sufficient really. It's a dangerous one.
There are confirmation of the top 3 over there, and we've still got 25 men here, well 24 and a bit, because one's down the road, over 3 minutes ahead of the main group. So if you're with us, stay with us and come back. You're looking at the leader on the road at the moment on this stage of the Paris-Nice, taking the riders to that finish at the top of the Montferrand stage 4 of the race. And out there in the red and yellow colours is the rider Felix Garcia Casas, who joined the Big Mat Ober team from the Festina squad. He's been a good hitter for the Festina squad, won about 4 races in his time, but most of the time working a good domestic, but he can climb, and he's obviously taken his chance now, been a pro for some 10 years, as has the man in the yellow jersey. You see him second in line there, because Didier Roos turned pro in 1992, and amongst his successes, he won a stage in the Tour de l'Avenir way back in 1994, and then went on to get stayed in the Tour de France in 97. Also a good time trialist. He won that in Castres and the Critérium International. We're going to be bringing, by the way, the Critérium International on Eurosport, not this coming weekend after this one, but the one after that. We're going to be also covering the Semaine Catalana. That'll be in not next week, which is a blank week, but the week after that. More or less normal service being resumed on Eurosport. I'm David Duffield. With me is Sean Kelly, 7 times victor of the Paris-Nice, amongst his other massive selection of results over the years. So Eurosport, again, a good programme of cycling ahead of you, and thanks to those who welcome us back after the winter break. Yes, we've been anxious to get back in the saddle, and I've had a question here from John Adams, who was asking about the coffee bikes and so on, about his getting it on his analog satellite dish. I'm not an expert in these things, John, but I do understand that the analog system is still being used across Europe. Those who are watching back in Great Britain, the majority of you will be picking up a British Eurosport. You'll see it in your top right-hand corner where it says Eurosport Live. Ahead of that, it'll say British Eurosport Live. That is the digital service which you'll be picking up there, and some of you may also be getting the analog service, which goes across the whole of Europe. A bit complicated, I know, technically there. Don't want to confuse you, but there's been rumours that the analog system will be switched off. I don't know how they're going to do that, because we use the analog system all over the rest of Europe, and if you wanted to listen to the English version and wanted to tune your analog set in, say, in Russia, where we're picking up out as far as Stalingrad, for instance, you wanted to pick up Eurosport, you could do so, and even pick up the English if you chose to do so. We broadcast in either 18 or 19 languages across the road. 90 million homes can receive Eurosport, and I think the analog system may well, John, but I'm not an expert in these things, be still held there. But the British Eurosport is worth having. The quality which you're getting on digital is going to be, and is now, a lot better than the analog system. That's why many people are switching to digital, not only with television, but also with radio as well, and progressively, a bit like when you went from black and white to colour. You'll get better pictures, you'll get an ability also, a better sound, but you need to have a digital set for it as well. Eventually, people will be buying those naturally. People are doing it now. And also, you've probably seen on your televisions very often there's a black line at the top and the bottom. It's because many of these digital sets now are the shape more attuned to those you see in the cinema, a bit more rectangular than semi-square as you get at the moment. So that's why you see that black line very often for films and so on, because they're aimed at the digital. And of course, there are some of the new digital systems coming in where you can, for instance, in a football match, decide to concentrate on a particular player or a particular piece of action, or get your own slow-mo action and something else. All very complicated outdated if you want to follow it to that degree, but most of you still with the old steam analog. Yes, we're still going full blast at the moment, and but those who are watching on British Eurosport, welcome also to our coverage. And you can see the background there, whether you're on digital or analog, that the crowds have been sort of gathering. It was very damp this morning when we set off. We'd had a flurry of rain. There's been the clouds hanging over the finishing area too. A good number of people beginning to go up there on this very famous Montferrand to see if the French can dominate the race yet again. They did so yesterday. Jalabert won the stage, Rousse took the yellow jersey, and they're in this breakaway group now going to the outskirts of Toulon, heading up towards the final finish of the day. Well, Sean, how do you read it?
Well, our leader out there 18 seconds, and there's 24 riders, but the Bonjour riders are very active. Simon is setting a pace in the front. We see him here now in our heli shot. Benetton was also setting the pace, so Rousse is still, you know, still piling on the pressure, and he must feel quite good when he's doing that, because he must feel very comfortable and he feels confident for the final climb. And as I said, it was surprising to see him take the front on a few occasions himself. So it will be an interesting final, but you know, down to 18 seconds, it's going to be difficult for our leader to stay out there when these guys start the climb, which they're just at the beginning of it now.
And a bit splattered across the road. Here they are. Nobody really wants to take the initiative except Rousse, just at the head of that little shape. But he's not going to be too worried about Felix. Did you watch out to where he is at the moment on general classification, Garcia Casas? I don't think he's in fact where he is, he was this morning 38 seconds down. So at the moment he's sort of got himself near to being technically race leader on the road, but I think it's coming back a bit now. Was the last time check 10 seconds, was it? Or have I got it wrong?
18 seconds, and he's actually back up to 20 seconds actually, so we can see here there's nobody setting the pace in the moment. The Bonjour guys, most of them have disappeared now. They've done their work, so you know, it's steadied up a bit, so he's pulled out the advantage again to 20 seconds.
So that's the man then out there. Garcia start this morning 30 seconds spot, 38 seconds down for the Big Mat Ober team, and well, whatever happens, he's going to move up to 32nd this morning. We started the stage today from Pertuis to Montferrand, 175 kilometres, 109 miles in all on stage 4, with no less than 49 riders inside 1 minute of the yellow jersey, Didier Rousse, but not many of that group have managed to stay up there with him. Vinocroft is in this group. He's 26 seconds down this morning on Rousse. We also know that I think we've got Voigt in there, who was this morning 13th at 27 seconds, and so they are the main threat, I think, overall at the moment in that group. Looking down the list, Kivilev, 46 seconds down this morning. He's in that break. By the way, not with him at the moment, Cadel Evans from the Mappe team has been doing a useful ride. He finished at 41st on general classification, 41 seconds down on general classification. I spoke to him yesterday, another mountain biker who's turned to riding on the road, as has the rider from the Mappe team, Dario Cioni, who the last I saw was sitting at the back of this little group. And looking down the list, I think Dario had a bad day the other day, so he's not really in contention on the overall classification, but the only Mappe man that's made it. 250, you can see the gap back now to the main peloton, 24 seconds. They're leaving a bit out to Fry, is the poor old rider from the Big Mat Ober, Felix Garcia Casas. But he's looking pretty sprightly at the moment, Sean.
Yes, he certainly is. He's still holding on out there on 24 seconds of an advantage. It's, you know, he's doing very well. There's the Bonjour guys are still trying to set the pace, but I think the sting has gone out of them at the moment.
Bonjour, they keep playing the cards here. They got on the front earlier on and drove this thing and split the whole field, and then one by one dropped off the back. Seem to have got some breath back come the game. So again, Bonjour driving hard at the front. It's 21 seconds the gap now back to Rousse and back to Jalabert. Jalabert exposed on his own, sitting on the wheel of the yellow jersey, Bruce. Sean, what's this last bit of the climb left? We've got 6.3 kilometres here. You know the course. Is it suitable for Jalabert to launch an attack, or do you think Bruce can control him? It's difficult, I know, if you just sort of to speculate on this, but those two riders, Bruce seems to have a better set of legs than we've seen him for an awful long time, but Jalabert, well, what's the chance?
I think we will see some attacks. If Jalabert has got the legs, he will definitely have a go, but Roos, he seems to be riding very strong. He's taking the front of the group on occasions that we've seen, so we will definitely see some attacks from some of those guys. That is a definite, but you know, this guy is he's still holding out there 24 seconds, but the Bonjour guys, after doing it, you know, an unbelievable ride today. We see Chabanel, he's still setting the pace there on the climb, so you know, it's been a good day for Roos, because if you look at the bunch at 250 at the moment, well, for those guys it's over, and you know, the amount of favourites have lost out today. There's quite a number of there. There's at least 6 or 8 of the riders who are very capable of winning the race, like Basso, Claude and Zulle, Frigo, Munkat, Ivichosa. All of those guys have missed this move.
So on that basis, if they don't get a move on, they've lost out in the overall race, and it could be down then tomorrow in that run up toward the Col d'Ez, or D'Art, I forget where it is now, between the chaps who are in this breakaway group here. What about Vinokurov, though? How do we rate his chances? Because he's let the rest of them do the battering, haven't they? And he's sort of been just sitting in the bunch then, following the wheels. What about his chances today?
Well, he's in perfect position. He's up there in this group. He did not miss the move. I think Vinokurov in the climbs, he always has a bit of problems. He's not the best of a climber. He's a very strong rider, but he's limited on a climb like this on Faron. So I think he will just try and follow these the likes of Jalabert and the likes of Roos, and just not lose any time to them today.
Well, if we look at the group and look at the people who started this morning within 1 minute of the yellow jersey, there's only about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe about half a dozen only have made it into this group. So I think it might have caught them a bit by surprise. A lot of the top men have been perhaps watching each other. I would say top men, Roos and Jalabert are the top men, first and second overall. But do you get the impression that too many of those chaps, Sean, when we've got people like Zuller and Frijo and Crest, all that lot there, have missed the whole thing? Would it be an indecision to chase this down? Because with all due respect, other than Bruce and Jalabert, Vinokurov, Voigt, Garmendia, Kivilev, there's about half a dozen. The rest of that 35-man group were also rounds, they were out of the frame. Is that the danger this time of the year, to miss out?
Well, it's a danger any time of year, but you know, it's something that can always happen. And when you get a little bit of side wind and you get a team or two who just start riding and put everybody into the side of the gutter, when we see them hanging there trying to get shelter, and that's what happened today. The Bonjour guys did that. They knew the occasion. They probably knew the road quite well. They knew the direction of the wind, and a lot of riders get caught out. But when you have 35 riders up in front, it's difficult for the guys behind to chase, because if all those guys are riding well, then it's almost impossible to come back. It's different if you attack on a climb. You see some of the good climbers like Zulle, like Frigo, Claude, and those guys can come back to you on the climb. But when you go on the flat into a wind, well, then you have 35 riders, and if they all ride, well, then it's very, very difficult to pull it back.
They are young viewers back there. If you're interested in cycling and listening to this, I'll tell you, you've bunked off school if you can hear it live this afternoon, by the way. But if perhaps your dad's recorded it, you're listening there. That's the voice of Sean Kelly, 7 times victor of this race. And Sean, I'm sure, won it sometimes not only on his ability to ride these legs, but to read it, the race too, as well. And today, some of the chaps back there who we've got in the short list of success for this year's Paris-Nice, they've now missed the selection. They just didn't use their heads. The legs haven't been able to pull them back. So now with Roos driving this one along, the field fairly strong round about him, and the leader looking here for a chance. We've got 4 kilometres to go toward the finish. Well, it looks like he's going well, but Sean, why would the yellow jersey be sat there driving so hard at the front with Jalabert round about him? Would you do that if you were in Roos's position? I mean, we don't know what his legs are like, but it does seem to me he's not dominating it, he's just riding on the front.
Well, it's difficult to know. You know, he can be feeling very good, but also if you set a pace in the front, well then the other rider is not, you know, not going to attack as much. Where if you slow it down, if you haven't got a teammate to set the pace, sometimes you've got to do that yourself. Start setting the pace and you bluff it a bit. They think you're going very well, and you may be suffering quite a lot. And you know, they were just following the wheel. And some riders like that. They like to just ride a steady pace, because if it starts attacking on the climb, they're not able to go with the attacks all the time, and that kills them. So maybe, I'm not sure of Roos what way he climbs. He might like just a steady, strong climb than rather be jumping around all the time.
Well, he's certainly making a good job of it here at the front then. The man who joined the Big Matt Ober team, in some way I think already he has repaid the confidence in the team manager to select him to ride with their team. And looks like he might be in for a chance to get towards 3 kilometres to go to get the victory today. I think the rest behind. But bear in mind, there's 10 seconds bonus for the first man over the line, then 6 and then 4 in that order. And so Jalabert would like to steam round here because he lost a second further back on one of the sprints to Roos. So the gap between the two is now about 3 seconds between Roos and Jalabert. So Jalabert ought really to get his skates on and get away and try and just punch a bit of tap if he's looking for the yellow jersey too, or perhaps he's just bluffing at the moment on his strength and just got to stay behind Roos. But he's leaving it a bit late, Sean.
Well, I think it's still possible. It's just they're only about 10 or 12 seconds in it, and we see he went past the 4 kilometres, so he's just coming up. It's what, 3.5 kilometres to go. I think somebody who can come out of this group very fast can still come back and take the stage, because 10 seconds would be pulled back very, very quickly. Well,
still then the lead-up hanging on. Felix Garcia Casas is just out there. The Angels are up there. We've seen the Devil. We've now got another rather rotund angel to it. Now the attack is coming then. It looks like Jalabert has decided to start to do something about it then, but 8 seconds only as Jalabert looks back then. And where's the yellow jersey? It looks like suddenly his legs have gone to water. He's nailed to the tarmac, and Jalabert is going away. He's caught then. In fact, he's been overtaken. I think it's Moncuti from the Cofidis team. Certainly the Cofidis rider in that group has come up there and doing the damage. Vernukrov is there in the pink and the black for Telecom, just behind Jalabert in the red and white for the CSC Tiscali team. And this is how we're looking at Jalabert. Looks back, sees that Roos is in danger. And Moncuti then, a useful climber, just ahead of Jalabert. Then Vernukrov. Not a lot of damage done then, except the yellow jersey has dropped a little bit further back and probably is grovelling now. Looks like he's losing time. He could be losing the jersey too, as well as Jalabert takes a quick look back. Voigt's climbing well too in the green and white. Voigt then this morning looks like he's going to go well for Credit Agricole. He started in 13th spot, 27 seconds down. Vernukrov started in 12th spot, 26 seconds down. How much of that are they going to pull back on the yellow jersey? That gap certainly will close. He can lose a lot of time, but he's there hanging on for grim death. He may lose the yellow jersey. He might keep second spot. It's then up to Jalabert. Don't forget the Vernukrov start this morning, also 26 seconds back. Moncuti, well, he's way up, I think, further down the list, so he's looking for a stage victory. Some movement to climb up the general classification, but it really is down to Jalabert now, who's looking remarkably calm. Over 150 victories to his long credit over the years of being in there as a bike rider at this level. But Roos still desperately trying to stay within contention, but having no luck with his legs.
Yes, I think Roos, he was setting the pace just to you know, to keep a steady pace, and he probably knew that he wasn't ready. Like if the guy started attacking him, we see that when Jalabert went to the attack, he was immediately in trouble. He just hadn't got the legs.
Oh, the gap's growing up now. Get the old watches out then, because Vernukrov and in this little lot here, Voigt, I think, is just beginning to lose a bit of ground. Yes, so there we are. Moncuti, together with Jalabert, Vernukrov prize themselves away for that two-man group, including Voigt, and a lot further back. Cioni at the back just dropping off the pace too as well. He's still with the yellow jersey group. Kazar back there too. And I think at the moment now, looking at that, that certainly we're seeing this thing turn on its heels. Who is the chap from La Française des Jeux at the moment there? Who is it, Magnan? It's Robin, isn't it? 167. Yeah, it's Saint-Cyr Robin. Voigt now is just hammering away on his own. We just passed him. Robin, one of the white hopes of French cycling some years ago, had gone into a sort of plateau really, but he's just back there, still in no man's land. The yellow jersey having to work hard, and we're going to watch on our countdown time to see what's going to happen to Veunerkroff. Certainly Jalabert is on his way to take the yellow jersey at this rate of knots. He's only about 3 seconds down on the general classification as at this moment. There's Veunerkroff. 15 seconds is the gap back coming over our headphones between Jalabert, Veunerkroff, Moncuti. There it is, 15 seconds. Well, that will be certainly enough to put Jalabert with a 10-second bonus into the yellow jersey. But this morning, Veunerkroff started out 26 seconds down on Roos. He's still got to do a lot of work to take the yellow jersey or close up on the jersey, with Jalabert in really the pound seats, or should I say the euro seats, because Jalabert certainly cannot now, with only 2 kilometres to go, surely lose the wheel of Veunerkroff, who's preferred, I think, at the moment to sit there. And then Roos is really digging deep. He's been obviously holding something back, Sean. Is this just a desperate move on his part, or do you think he went back for a breather?
Well, you definitely don't go back for a breather at this moment, you know, but sometimes you can have a little bit of a problem, and you know, you get through it, you go on for a kilometre, and then you come around again, you start to find your rhythm again. And Kovalev we see here, who is, you know, in this leading group with Veunerkroff and Jalabert, he's attacking him again. He's being very strong. He's setting the pace for quite a while here, and he's the guy who did the damage. You know, after Jalabert attacking, Kovalev took over, and he really put a distance between them. Veunerkroff now is counter-attacking, which is surprising. Veunerkroff, he's, you know, he's not a great climber. He hangs in there, but to see him climb like this, he's you know, he's on a very good day.
So my apologies to the couple of supporters. There were so many riders in there. It is Kovalev that's gone there. Well, Kovalev riding from Kazakhstan, so we had 2 Kazakhstan riders together with Jalabert. And the way that Veunerkroff has gone away now at the moment, this is going to be quite interesting, because I said to you earlier on that he started this morning at just some 26 seconds down on Didier Roos. Roos got a 3-second bonus at one of the intermediate sprints, so technically 29 seconds between Veunerkroff and Roos, but bear in mind also that there are 10 seconds bonus for the first man over the line. Jalabert seems to have lost a bit of steam at the moment, because Voigt has now come up to him, and there number 24 is Kovalev from Kazakhstan, who doesn't seem to be able to accelerate again like his countryman did as Veunerkroff has gone away. Jalabert on that special lightweight bike was pretty certainly changed about 15 kilometres down the road to a bike to climb the mountain. He's got those special, I think, ADA lightweight wheels there. It looked like it from the large sized centres. Just listening to the time check coming over, 20 seconds then to Veunerkroff, coming up towards 1 kilometre to go, and despite that lightweight bike that Jalabert is riding on with the special ADA lightweight wheels that he's there with a sort of large flange hub in the centre there, it looks a bit heavy, but it isn't. It's one of the lightest set of wheels you like to get, which is what you want to climb up here, but he's going to have to work hard then to catch up with Veunerkroff. At 38 seconds now then. Well, bearing in mind then that this morning Veunerkroff started out to just some 24 seconds down on Jalabert. Jalabert's pinched an extra couple of seconds in one of the intermediate sprints, but the 10 seconds bonus at the front. So technically Veunerkroff is riding into the yellow jersey. Jalabert has to do something about it. It doesn't look, Sean, as if he's got the legs.
No, he's certainly he certainly doesn't seem to have it now, because this is the moment, you know, to make or break. And if he had anything, I think he would have a go, and he should be right in the front, because to allow Vinnicroft to take seconds out of him, it's dangerous. So he must be really suffering when he's not able to. You know, we don't see him really setting the pace here at the moment. And when you see riders coming back as well, Voigt came back to join Kovalev and Jalabert, and also Kassar came back there from the front days to do. So it shows that, you know, they're not really going in the group of Jalabert.
Well, Vinnicroft ploughing away here, looking very strong indeed, and that'll please the viewers back in Germany for Eurosport covering this race. Not all the national television stations have turned up yet a while, so Eurosport then hogging the media, and I'm sure a lot of the German supporters. And of course, we get out as far as Kazakhstan too. We'll be very pleased to see him going up there. Vinnicroft being one of those riders who's always been there or thereabouts, and our minds go back to a couple of years when it was his teammate Cloden who surprised everybody with the final climb up the Col d'Ez at a time trial to win the Paris on that occasion. Well, at the moment, the way he's going, Vinnicroft, he's certainly putting Telecom in the Euro seats up there at the front, with the possibility of having that jersey down at the finish on Sunday. But that's a long way yet to go. Big mountainous stages yet to come, and this man here hasn't missed a beat so far, but has he gone slightly too soon? In fact, they've dropped the yellow car in behind for Mavic. Mavic now specialising more often in wheels than anything else. Many of the things that they've been supplying over the years, I've seen them with chain sets and so on, don't seem to be part of their armoury any longer. They're very much wheel makers, and undoubtedly they're there to be prepared for a change should a puncture happen here with Vinnicroft. I don't think he's going to do a nice, smoothish sort of road, but a bit chilly too, because the clouds were only just lifted recently, but warming the hearts of the German supporters of this great Telecom team is the man out there on the front of the mountain, Vinnicroft, coming in shortly. You'll see the signs on the side of the road just showing the countdown in metres towards the finish. A well-judged victory, I think, as far as he's concerned. No doubt about it, Sean. This really, he's just kept his powder dry, sat in a bunch then, and I'm certainly, I'd rate this as one of his best performances. What do you think?
Yes, it certainly is. It's a surprise, I think, to me certainly, and I'd say to a few other people, because on a climb like this you wouldn't expect Vinnicroft to be able to do this. But you know, the way he went away here, and he seems to have about 26 seconds of an advantage over Jalabert, Kovalev and Kassar. So you know, a magnificent ride from him today.
And there he is coming in. You'll see the clocks begin to run there, just inside 4 hours, and Vinnicroft gets that victory. Watch down on the watch the countdown on the clock then, because this morning then, starting out 26 seconds was the time between him and Jalabert. In fact, 24 to be precise, but Jalabert's got a couple of seconds back. So that 26 seconds applies, and will Jalabert take the yellow jersey? Will it go to Vinnicroft? The countdown on my watch is 18 seconds, now coming up to 20, and he's coming up here 25, 26. It looks like Jalabert is his second spot then, 28 seconds minus, oh, this is going to be difficult now then, because Vinnicroft got less than 10 seconds as a bonus, and Jalabert got another 6, so there's 4 between them still. So no, it looks like Jalabert has lost out. He hasn't quite made it, according to my quick calculations, the back of a scruffy old envelope here then, that the gap between Vinnicroft and Jalabert in the time bonuses was 4 seconds. Adding to that the 26, so in fact, yeah, it looks like he has got, here comes the yellow jersey. Well, that's gone. He's over a minute down on Vinnicroft. This morning he was 26 seconds ahead of Vinnicroft, so he certainly lost out there. You've seen it here live on Eurosport, the change of the system. So that's certainly a disappointment for Roos, but he gave it all he's got, and his team worked so hard. They're going to be very disappointed, I think, that they didn't get that yellow jersey after working so hard all the way through. But this, I think, is Felix Garcia Casas, who tried to win the stage. Just shows you how much you can lose. 1 minute 40 just in such a short space. Well, I think he was still in the lead, 4 kilometres to go. Very useful ride indeed, by the way, for Dario Cioni coming up here, the Mappe rider. I think he'd be pleased with that one, to be up there in the top 10 on such a hard day as this. It's just showing this ex-mountain biker has done the right thing in changing over to narrow wheels, and he had the support of the Mappe team on the next few days of the racing. Here then, I mentioned about the BMC bike. You can see those funny sort of slots in the lugs just below the saddle and below the bottom bracket, but as he comes through and gets books off it, then is still 2 minutes 15 seconds down. Penny numbers it is, just shows you the distance between that Vingercroft has put between himself and the rest of these riders who are with him at the bottom of this climb. Is that Frigo now? Well, where's he come? 2:32. He came up from nowhere, and this, I think, is Cuesta coming up. So, in fact, they close it down a little bit, the main pack. Frigo coming in just over 2 minutes down. Well, he's last year's winner of the Tour of the Paris-Nice. He's got to really do something on the stage up to the top at the Col d'Ez, I think, to get it back. The lads from Alacio coming through. So this is what's left of the main field, fragmented and stretched out on the climb up. They close the gap down a little bit. It was over 3 minutes at one time, but it's not enough. And here comes Alex Zuller. Well, he started the morning only 21 seconds down, and Alex now having won that Tour, but we saw of Valencia just about a week ago. We thought he was on his way back to win this particular race, but he missed the move. I think there'll be a little bit of chatting going on amongst the team managers with their squad. So having got the Tour of Valencia by the time trial, 23 kilometre, put him up there as the overall victory. There's no time trial ahead for the riders, experts like him, to pull back the deficit, which at over 3 minutes I think is far too much now for Zuller to get up there at the finish in Nice to win another of the Paris-Nice, which he's done in the past there. And here comes Richard Verronk. A lot of top riders who we were thinking might do something today, Sean. Nearly 4 minutes down, eh?
Well, yes, and all because of you know, they missed that move, which was a tactical move really by the Bonjour riders, and possibly by the CSC. There was quite a lot of them up there, so we don't know exactly who were the two teams who formed this echelon, as they call it. But the Bonjour guys were certainly the ones who were up there in the beginning. A lot of riders caught out, like a Frigo and Zuller. We see him there. Frigo came in at 2.5 minutes. He did a fabulous ride up the climb, considering he was, you know, around 2.5 minutes or more at the bottom of the climb. To do that when you're left behind, because it works on your morale as well. It proves if he had been up there, he would have been definitely one of the danger men for the stage and for the general here. And Azulia also, because 3.5 minutes is not a bad ride at all when you see him coming in after losing so much time in the earlier part of the day, and being you know, the morale wouldn't have been great at the bottom of this climb.
Now, sheer speculation, but we've still got that finish at the top of the Col d'Ez, not tomorrow, but the day after that. Now, tomorrow is an undulating one. We've still got 18 different climbs. It's a very undulating run tomorrow, just one first category climb and lots of smaller ones before we finish on the run from Toulon to Caen, finishing there tomorrow. And then the next day, when we go out from a place called Fréjus to finish in Nice, we've got on the outskirts of Nice that very steep climb up the Col d'Ez. We're looking back on our slow motion here. There was quite a big hole knocked in the time. The teams have got to control this one, and Jalabert's got a very strong team with the CSC team. We've seen the Telecom team are very strong too as well. Bonjour have had a bit of a go today, but do you think it's Telecom, in view of the fact they haven't had anybody except really Vingercroft up there, have a good chance now of controlling, or is it still open and still a possibility that on that stage from Saint Raphael to Col d'Ez we turn upside down, Sean? I know it's very difficult to predict cycle racing, but there must be a few chaps in there who'd like to get their own back.
Well, definitely so. I think there'll be a lot of teams saying, well, we'll make those guys pay tomorrow because they're going to be very unhappy. But with the situation the way it is, Jalabert, he's in a perfect situation. Vingercroft is, well, it looks like he's going to be leader, or, you know, it's going to be very, very close. Jalabert is still in a very good position, very much in contention. So if he's in second position, it's the best position for Jalabert. The Telecom riders are going to control the race. He's going to sit there and wait tomorrow and for Saturday up until Col d'Ez, and I think you know, he could not be in a better position. If he's in second position, I think is the best position, because then he doesn't have the weight of the yellow jersey on his shoulders for the hard day to Cannes tomorrow.
Well, the Saturday, by the way, there are some 8 climbs, which 3 of them are first category climbs. They're finished at the top of the Col d'Ez. So Wienerkopf here in the pink coming in to finish the stage for the Telecom team. Strong team he's got round about him, but it ain't over yet, and the fat lady hasn't yet started to sing, and we're going to be finishing down on the right there by the sea. You can see that beautiful sight over there at the top of the mountain here. We'll be finishing on the Sunday with a run into the mountains and then down into the finish on the famous run along the front at Nice to see who's going to take the 60th Paris-Nice. There we are at the moment. You can see that Wienerkopf still confirmed first, Jalabert second, Kibilev into third spot of this 4th stage of the Paris-Nice. Well, this is one of the best ways to look down into Toulon, into the beach, by the way, in the far distance, to come up here onto the Montferrand. And, well, there's an old Latin saying, lasso la mar el tento to terra, that praise be to the sea, but stick to the land. Well, if you're up on the land, you can look down there at the sea, and the results tomorrow will be printed in all the newspapers to show that Wienerkopf is in the lead from Sandy Casada in 4th spot, Voigtbach 5th. I missed it, they flicked it up quickly where Jalabert got to, but certainly this day-to-day showing that cycle racing is so difficult to predict.